Back when computer software was starting to get more sophisticated, a popular game for children emerged, known as the point-and-click. They would often require the player to explore an area displayed on the screen and click on different objects and characters. Some of these would have an educational component, while others would be just for fun. With the popularity of these computer games among younger players, it made sense for Disney to jump on board, and thus the Disney Animated Storybook and Activity Center CD-ROMs were created. As someone who was the right age when they launched, I played a fair number of these, so allow me to take you down memory lane. The first titles released were the Lion King Animated Storybook and the Aladdin Activity Center in November 1994. The animated storybooks were rather self-explanatory, as they retold the movies in a storybook format. A narrator would read the words out loud, and then you could click wherever you liked on the screen to see what the characters would do. Interspersed throughout the story were also side games. For example, the Lion King Animated Storybook gave you the opportunity to try and pounce on Zazu, like Simba does in the film. Disney was actually able to get most of the actors to reprise their roles for the animated storybooks, so you still had Nathan Lane voicing Timon, James Earl Jones voicing Mufasa, etc. For the narrator of The Lion King, they actually got James Avery, most well known for playing Uncle Phil on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Shredder in the Ninja Turtles cartoon. The activity centers, meanwhile, presented a few games related to the movie and settings. These often involved card games, puzzle games, and guessing games. You could also watch actual film clips, albeit in a slightly lower quality than if you were to actually pop in the video cassette, but it was still a nice feature. Aladdin Activity Center had the advantage of having the actors from the television series available, which meant Dan Castellaneta's Genie was your host. I have fond memories of that Activity Center, but I did have a preference for the Lion King one. The graphics saw a slight improvement, and there was more variety in the games presented. In addition to the expected card and puzzle games, there was also a word game with Timon and Pumbaa, a music game with Ed the Hyena, and a page where you could color in black and white images from The Lion King. Unlike the animated storybook, they weren't able to bring back Nathan Lane, but Quinton Flynn, his occasional substitute in the Timon and Pumbaa television series, more than handled the task of voicing Timon. The next release was the Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree animated storybook. This one did a lovely job of adapting the visual look of the classic short to computer graphics. This game also included sing-along portions incorporating the classic Sherman Brothers songs, and the little side games somehow made opening cupboard doors engaging. I also played the Pocahontas animated storybook, with the mini-games incorporating an exploration theme. You could shoot arrows with Pocahontas, try and stop Meeko the raccoon from eating berries, or find animals in the forest. It was not a standout entry in the series, but it did the job of retelling the movie with an educational bent. For the Toy Story Animated Storybook and Activity Center, a different and rather revolutionary approach was taken. Most of these were handled by Disney Software, working alongside third-party developer Media Station. When it came time to give Toy Story the same treatment, Pixar took charge and started the Interactive Products Group in-house in order to make these CD-ROM games. Thus, the games looked almost exactly like the movie. The team behind these games created as much animation as the original film, and that led an authenticity to them. You really felt like you were controlling Woody and Buzz, and it made the interactive experience even more special. The original animation Pixar made for the game was often a lot of fun to watch, especially getting to see and hear more interactions from Woody towards Buzz. The most enjoyable part of the animated storybook was the end scene, where you try and drive them to the moving van and avoid Scud the dog. The Activity Center was entertaining too. I think I spent the most time in Sid's room, constructing his Franken toys and playing around with a soundboard. In other sections you could connect pipes at Pizza Planet and play a math-based card game with Ham. These games were notable for being the first time that Tom Hanks' brother, Jim, voiced Woody, something he continues to do for video games, toys, and theme park attractions to this day. Tim Allen was the other major actor not to reprise his role, with Pat Fraley voicing Buzz Lightyear. Yes, Krang from Ninja Turtles. Some of the top animation talent who had a hand in the Toy Story CD-ROMs include Glenn McQueen, Hal Hickel, Jimmy Hayward, and Doug Sweetland. Disney and Pixar were actually so impressed with the Interactive Products Group's work on the games that the division was dissolved not long after their release, and they were assigned to animate on Toy Story 2, back when that was going to go direct-to-video. The last of these games I played was the 101 Dalmatians animated storybook. It followed the story of the animated film, although it also incorporated elements from the live-action movie, like Anita being a fashion designer working for Cruella, and Roger being a video game designer. Pongo, Perdita, and one of their puppies, Lucky, served as narrators, and the art style did a good job of emulating the look of the animated classic. The mini-games were enjoyable, and you even got to play Roger's game at the end. After 101 Dalmatians animated Storybook, I guess I moved on from these and onto more sophisticated games. It is important to remember these were made for children rather than adult fans, so the difficulty level is relatively easy. But that's fine, and they more than succeed in their required goal. In 1999, Disney stopped producing the animated storybooks, with Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2 ending up the final game in the series. The activity centers lasted a little longer, stopping in 2002 with Monsters, Inc. Nostalgia is definitely there for these, and I'm happy I got to play them in my youth. Let me know in the comments section whether you also remember the Disney animated storybooks and activity centers, and which ones you played, and I'll see you next time.